Boo! I'm gonna tell you a scary story. It's also a very interesting one. Hi, I'm Lillian. I was born and raised in Transylvania. It's famous for its ancient castles and dark legends about vampires. Ugh. My parents and I lived on a farm. I spent most of my time outside, and I learned a lot about plants. I even made my own makeup products and creams. Sage plus rosemary equals pimples. And that was how I lived until my parents got a divorce. I would have been gutted, but to be honest, Mom and Dad had been fighting a lot, so I wasn't all that surprised. Mom didn't let it bring her down either. This is our chance to start a new life. That's right, Mom. She told me that the two of us were moving to Grandma's house. Wow! Hell yeah! Grandma lived in America, and I had always dreamed of going there. By the way, my mom was from the US too, so she was the one who taught me English. I couldn't wait for us to move. However, I was worried I wouldn't be able to find new friends in the school. So I found a solution, and I added a guy from that town to my friends on social media. His name was Gordon, and we texted each other for days and quickly became friends. Well, maybe not just friends. I can't wait to see you. I'm sure you're even more beautiful in life than you are in photos. Oh, by the way, Gordon looked like some kind of Greek god. Cool, right? I was looking forward to meeting him and Grandma. However, when we boarded the plane, my mom frowned slightly and looked at me seriously. Lillian, dear, promise me you won't be upset if the kids there say, weird things about us. I didn't take my mom's words seriously then. I was too busy looking forward to meeting Gordon. The town of Sweet Hill, where my grandmother lived, was ready for Halloween. I loved that holiday. Wow, it's so beautiful here. Look, Mom, it says there's gonna be a contest for the best pumpkin jam at the autumn fair. Let's go there. Absolutely. Soon, we got to Grandma's house. It turned out that it was right next to a cemetery. Would you be scared? I wasn't. I'm so glad you're here. Grandma treated me to a pumpkin latte and gave me a tour of the house. Bunches of dried grass hung from the ceiling, and there were strange flasks and unusual books on the shelves. The windows of my new room faced, ta-da, the cemetery. What a vibe! I love it! In the morning, as I was about to meet Gordon, my grandmother came up to me and sighed gloomily, just like my mom had done on the plane. Lillian, teenagers can say all sorts of stupid things. Don't listen to them, okay? I should have listened to her, but I was too excited about my meeting with Gordon. We met in the city park. Gordon brought his friends along. Lillian, welcome to Sweet Hill. Gordon was so #hot. He introduced me to his friends. They all turned out to be cool guys. Well, almost all of them. A girl called Nancy clearly considered herself the local queen and looked at me like I was trash. Where did you say you were from? Transylvania. What? Does everyone there dress like you? Or are you just a beggar? Ugh. I wanted to wash out that moron's mouth with soap. Lucky for her, Gordon stood up for me. Nancy, be nice to my friend. They showed me around the city. It was fun. Soon, we came to a house on the outskirts of the city, and we saw a gloomy guy there. His face was hidden by a hood. He was sitting out on the lawn and drawing something. Gordon's friends started to make fun of him. Hey, wacko. Is it true you eat worms? You know, that's very rude. That guy's name's Chuck. He's a little weird. He walks around the cemetery at night. We tried to avoid him. A gust of wind blew Chuck's hood off, and I saw a scar on his face. Our eyes met for a second. He looked away in embarrassment and then went inside the house. That was weird, wasn't it? Guys, let's go egg the witch's house. I raised my eyebrows curiously, and Gordon explained that there was an urban legend about 3 witches that supposedly once lived in the city. They'd been messing with the locals. Now, another witch lived in their house. She was their descendant. Nobody really liked her. I loved scary stories, but I didn't want to harm some old lady. When we reached her house, I almost fainted. I lived there now. What? Wait! That's my grandmother's house! You should have seen their faces. Everyone recoiled from me like they'd seen a ghost. I knew there was something wrong about you. Guys, she's the witch's granddaughter. I gritted my teeth. That was so dumb. Gordon looked confused too, but then he smiled sweetly and put his hand on my shoulder. Come on, it's just a silly horror story. Lillian is a cool girl. We shouldn't be afraid of her. Have you forgotten about the curse? If you talk to her, you'll be in trouble. At that moment, my backpack slid off my shoulder and a notebook fell out of it. It was so unfair. See? She's a witch. She even has a spell book in a strange language. Oh, for God's sake. I couldn't listen to that nonsense any longer. These are just recipes in Romanian. I like making soap and I write everything down. Don't take us for fools. Even Gordon took a step back as if I stank of rotten fish. Ugh, now I knew what my grandma and my mom had warned me about. I couldn't sleep that night. I was still mad at those jerks and I started to read Edgar Allan Poe. Then I heard the front door slam and I looked out the window. And you know what I saw? My grandma was standing in the moonlight in front of the house with a broom in her hands. Okay, but that wasn't all. I also saw someone in the cemetery. It was Chuck. He was wandering among all the monuments. Interesting. On the first day at my new school, things didn't go well. Everyone shied away from me and whispered behind my back.
Is she really the witch's granddaughter?
Nancy saw her do magic with her own eyes. God, were they serious? My classmates moved their desks away from mine. To my surprise, Gordon also participated in that circus. I didn't know idiocy was contagious. Did you? I tried not to pay any attention to them. Let them think all they want. At recess, I saw a poster in the hallway about an upcoming Halloween party. Wow, that would cheer me up. I was daydreaming and accidentally bumped into Chuck. His hood fell off again. Our textbooks fell to the floor and got all mixed up. We hurried to pick them up.
Sorry, my bad.
Nonsense. Clumsiness is my middle name. He smiled back. You know, his scar didn't look bad at all. Chuck turned out to be nice. We lived near each other, so we went home together.
Don't you hate me? I'm used to being avoided.
Oh, that makes two of us. As we talked, I asked Chuck what he'd been doing at the cemetery at night. He sighed gloomily, but he answered.
When I was 10, my mom and I were in a car accident. She died, and I got this scar. Sometimes I come to the cemetery to talk to my mom and draw. It makes me feel like she's still with me.
Oh, Chuck, I'm sorry. That's so sad.
Thank you. You're cool. Gordon and Nancy don't deserve you.
Oh, well, thank you. By the way, I thought about my recipes, and I told Chuck that I knew a natural remedy that would make his scar less noticeable. A little bit of chamomile and mint, and whoosh! It's almost magical. All the ingredients are at my grandma's house. Let's go. Chuck suddenly frowned at me and said he would never go into the witch's house. Wait, did he believe that nonsense too?
And besides, the scar reminds me of my mom. Mind your own business, okay?
That made me angry because I was just trying to help him. Chuck turned out to be a jerk, just like the rest of them. We argued, and I came home angry. I was growing to hate that stupid city and everyone in it. But then, I noticed something strange at home. I heard the voices of my mom and my grandmother coming from the basement. What were they doing in there? I carefully peeked in and saw my mom and grandma stirring something in a huge bubbling cauldron. Can you imagine? What on earth were they doing? Was everything people were saying about my family actually true? At school, I tried to get my mind off those crazy thoughts and overheard Nancy talking about the upcoming party. I don't know which decorations to choose. It turned out she was organizing the party. I got an idea. Nancy, I think we got off on the wrong foot. I know all about Halloween. Let me help you with the party. Get away from me. You probably bring bad luck. Calm down, Lillian, and count to 10 before you put that upstart in her place. But then, Gordon surprised me.
Okay, girls, stop fighting. This joke has gone too far. I'm not gonna avoid Lillian anymore.
He looked into my eyes, and my knees got weak. I was ready to forgive him for everything, but Nancy clearly wasn't about to let that happen. It's your funeral, Gordy. Don't come complaining when you get cursed. To my surprise and horror, she was right. The more time Gordon spent with me, the more serious the consequences were for him. At lunch, he didn't notice a spider in his juice and accidentally swallowed it. Ugh.
Ew, that's disgusting.
He sat on a piece of gum in math class and ripped his shorts in gym. He was so embarrassed. It was terrible. He tried not to let it get him down, but when the seams of his pockets tore and his phone fell out of it, Gordon's patience ran out.
I tried, but the rumors are true. I broke the phone my parents gave me only a month ago. I'm sorry, Lillian, but I can't hang out with you.
He hung his head guiltily and left. Everyone at school was smirking at me. It was infuriating, but I didn't let myself cry. They wouldn't see me break down. At home, I slammed the door of my room angrily. My mom and my grandmother heard it and came to ask me if I was okay. I had been trying not to upset them, but at that moment, I couldn't help but blurt out the truth. Tell me, are we witches? They looked at each other in surprise and laughed.
Sweetie, we told you not to listen to stupid gossip.
You're probably gonna laugh too, but the truth was actually a lot simpler. It turned out that many years ago, 3 women really had lived in our house. They were healers, but some ignorant people called them witches. They had actually been helping people. Grandma had followed in their footsteps. She also treated people with folk remedies, hence the dried plants and strange books in the house. Now I knew who I got my talent from. I was just trying to decide which Halloween decorations to use when you saw me with that broom, and we were making jam for the autumn fair in the basement.
One of your classmates was probably jealous of you and caused all that trouble for Gordon.
I thought about it, and I remembered that Nancy had been with us every time something bad had happened. Ugh, she was such a jerk. I smiled vindictively. It was time to show them what real witches look like. The next day, I came to school in a witch costume. I walked past the other kids, huddling against the hallway walls in fear, proudly holding my head up.
Oh, is that your best outfit? Your hat is ugly, by the way.
You think so? I'll take it off then. I lifted my hat, and a toad jumped out from under it right at Nancy. Of course, I put it there in advance. Nancy screamed and ran away. I just cackled. Ugh, I'm gonna get warts. Chuck came up to me later.
You really showed her.
Someone had to do it.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said nasty things about your grandmother.
Never mind. At one point, even I believed all that nonsense. I'm sorry for talking about your scar.
Since we've cleared everything up, do you want to go to the party with me?
I agreed. Not because everyone at school was afraid of me, but because I actually liked Chuck. I helped him with the costume, and we went to the party. Trick or treat! Unfortunately, the party was terribly boring. No costume contests or creepy decorations. My classmates were wandering around the hall dejectedly with no idea what to do. Holy crud, Nancy screwed up. Oh, you think you would have done better? I know it. I would throw a party that would make your hair stand on end.
Then do it.
Fine, I will. Nancy dared me to throw a better party. She didn't know who she was messing with. The real Halloween starts tomorrow. Come to the scariest party ever if you dare. It will take place in the witch's house. Everyone looked at each other with interest, but surprisingly agreed. Well, it was time to get ready. At home, I told my mom and grandmother about the plan, and they agreed to help me. Showtime. When my classmates came over the next evening, I brought them to a dark room. Are you ready? We will hold a seance and summon the spirits of the witches that used to live here. Everyone pressed against each other excitedly. Someone even hiccuped in fear. We sat down on the floor, and I started to perform the seance, trying my best to keep a gloomy expression on my face. And at the most crucial moment, my mom turned on a recording of thunderclaps. She and my grandma jumped out in witches' costumes and scared my unsuspecting classmates. Who dares to bother us? Grandma was acting so convincingly that everyone scattered. Nancy was screaming louder than everyone. It was so worth it. I turned on the light, and everyone saw that the room was ready for the party. Guys, it was a prank. We prepared a lot of contests and snacks for the party. I didn't expect my classmates to like it so much. Nancy gritted her teeth in outrage and ran away. You're nuts, and everyone in your family is too. Everyone else had a great time.
Wow, a cake shaped like a skeleton? Your grandmother isn't a witch, she's a miracle worker.
I know. The autumn fair began the next day. Almost all the citizens presented their pumpkin jams. Which one should I try? This one or that one? I decided I would just try both of them. My mom and grandma were also taking part in the contest. I was 100% sure that our jam would win.
Hi, Lillian. I'd like to apologize.
What a twist. What had gotten into Nancy?
I was terrible to you. I love attention, but all everyone cared about since you came here was you.
Cute. If I'd been standing behind her at that moment, I probably would have seen her cross her fingers. That liar. But I didn't see it. So, of course, I forgive you. BFFs?
Of course.
But our friendship barely lasted a minute because right after that, I saw Nancy put something into her jam. Which one of us was actually an evil witch, huh? Just you wait. Listen up, everyone. Nancy and I made up and became the best of friends. Right, Nancy?
Yeah, of course, it's true.
So Nancy's gonna be the first to taste our jam in honor of that.
What?
Try it, Nance. For our friendship. Come on, everyone is watching. You should have seen the face that snake made when she tasted her own poison.
It's delicious. Thank you. Let me through.
As everyone laughed, she ran away looking green. Thank Dracula, my mom and grandma had prepared another vat of jam. They threw away the one that Nancy had ruined, and they won the championship.
You really showed Nancy her place. Your jam is the best one here. Do you want to go to the movies tonight? Come to the club with me instead.
Whoa, hold your horses, guys. I was faced with a choice. I liked both Chuck and Gordon. However, even though Gordon had apologized, he kept turning his back on me. Chuck wasn't very popular, but at least he'd been honest with me from the very beginning. Who would you choose if you were me?